What's going on, everybody? My name is Jake, and welcome to the official UFC 114 picks and bet breakdown, the ones that I will be personally placing. We did the picks, as in who we're going to pick to win the fights, earlier this week because I wanted to try to get some more videos out there, get some more content, and also YouTube seems to, like the ones that don't involve talking betting, even though I'm betting entirely legally, and you guys know I always say bet responsibly and don't take this as gambling advice, but even still, they seem to like the other video better as far as, allowing me to either promote or get into the algorithm more. So, and also just allows me to get more content anyway. So, we ranked just based off of pure pick who I think was going to win 1 through 14. So in this, I kind of said in that video, some of the picks would insinuate what I'm going to bet on. So these are just purely the bets. If you want to see who I'm thinking is going to win, again, obviously some of these bets will show who I think is going to win, but if you want to just go based purely who I think is going to win the fights, look at the video from earlier this week, and I'll probably plan on doing that every week. So without further ado, let's just get right into the betting breakdown for this card. We'll do the ROI stuff at the end. I just want to jump right into it. So first fight, and I've got Tapology pulled up because it seems like the bout orders might have changed a little bit throughout the week. So I have Tapology up, so hopefully this is the correct bout order for the card on Saturday. Pierre Rodriguez and Sam Hughes. Not going to have too much on this, but I am going to go Pierre Rodriguez, and her to win by decision is plus 115 on FanDuel. So you get some plus money here on a fight that is very likely to go to decision. And this, again, is a rematch. I just think Pierre Rodriguez is the better all-around fighter. Sam Hughes is always kind of in it. So, taking her on a spread as a parlay piece, it's plus 205 for her at plus 3.5. If you want to give yourself some more room for error there, maybe move it to plus 5.5. It's minus 295. Not a terrible parlay piece because, again, that covers if Sam Hughes wins outright, finds a finish somehow, or if she loses 29-28, which I see this fight going a lot more than not. Or another parlay piece worth a look. Sorry, I had to snatch away this little clip because this cat right here, is all over it. Fight to go the distance, depending on what book you got. I looked at it on FanDuel as minus 370. So a couple potential parlay pieces that we can play here, but main play is going to be Pierre Rodriguez by decision at plus 115. Not a ton of stakes on it, but I think this will be a close competitive fight here to open up the card. Next fight is Luan Lacerda and Hecher Souza. Again, really the only thing I'm looking to play here is Hecher Souza, KO, TKO, or decision. Luan Lacerda is pretty dangerous on the ground, so I don't think Hecher Souza is going to want to go that route because if it is on the ground, he might get snatched up in something. I think that's Luan Lacerda's best, maybe not. I mean, you could kind of say only path to victory, really. So, Hecher Souza, KO, TKO, or decision is minus 125 on FanDuel. And I did sprinkle a bonus bet. If you're not new here, you know that I like to play these bonus bets kind of like in a hedge way where, I'm not necessarily using them to bet more free money, if you will, on the people I think are going to win. This cat, man, is just being a menace right now. But I play those bonus bets. Again, this is all one take. I'm not restarting this or making cuts or whatever. This is right off the dome. So I kind of play these bonus bets in a hedge way unless I feel really strongly about something that, I've played bonus bets like way back, Wang Kong to win by knockout, and that almost happened. And she was also the girl I thought were going to win the fight. So it's not always on the opposite end where I place the bonus bets, but since it's house money, essentially, if you want to call it, I kind of use them as a way to hedge and set myself up in a spot to where I'm not guaranteed, but, strongly favored to make profit. So I'm going to sprinkle a bonus bet on Luan Lacerda by sub. I want to make sure I get the correct odds for you guys on that. Well, at least what I placed on it. Plus 650 on FanDuel. So a little bonus bet sprinkle in there, but main play is going to be Hecher Souza, knockout or decision. Next fight is Bia Mesquita versus Montse Rendon. Rendon by sub, plus 100. You get even money on, I think, her best path to victory. I could see her getting a ground and pound TKO too, especially, she's going to need to get this fight to the ground. Not that Montse Rendon's good on the feet, but Bia Mesquita, she's probably making strides in the striking, but that is by far not her strong suit. So if this fight stays on the feet, I took a little bonus bet, just like I was saying, kind of a hedge. Montse Rendon by decision is plus 700. So, because again, if she's stuffing takedowns, I mean, Montse Rendon's not very good in my opinion, but she's definitely going to have the striking advantage, albeit slight. But if she's able to stuff takedowns, who knows? These Vegas judges like to favor damage, even if the fight goes to the ground. So, I don't know, but you get plus money on Mesquita by sub. I think that's a pretty good play. Her by sub or decision is minus 290. That could be a decent parlay piece, but again, I'd be hesitant to do that personally, because if this goes to the decision, that's telling me she did not get the submission game going or ground and pound, or maybe even Montse Rendon is stuffing the takedown, so she's not taking her best path to victory, so maybe it's close. So I'd be hesitant on that, but Mesquita by sub is plus 100 on the dot, and then we got the Rendon by decision, little bonus bet. Just based off the value, I think it was definitely worth the sprinkle. Next fight. Again, this is Tapology's order. Brad Tavares and Eric Anders. I said this in my initial breakdown. I'm going to go Eric Anders. That's my only bet here. It's plus 110 when I got it at, and I saw it was actually moving towards more of a pick'em. So maybe some money coming in on Eric Anders. Coin flip for me. I'm going to take Eric Anders because I think he's... Again, they're both old, so I don't know how much this statement really holds true anymore, but I just think Anders is the better athlete all around. Tavares, I did see, is going for like the middleweight record for wins in the division, which is kind of crazy. So either fighter you go here, you can make an argument for it. I'm just going to go with the plus money and put a few bucks on it. See if it hits. So Eric Anders, money line, that's all I'm going to go there. I'd say it probably goes to a decision. So if you're wanting more stakes on this, maybe take fight to go the distance, but I would not recommend doing anything with this other than just taking whoever you think is going to win, if not just passing altogether. Next fight is Manuel Souza and Balaji Oki. I'm going to go under 2.5 rounds here at minus 134. I think this covers Oki's early finishing equity that is very live, I think. And again, this fight opened when Souza was like 4-1. That's kind of come down a bit. He's like right around that 3-1 range now. So some money coming in on Oki. Definitely don't think it's a bad bet for the value. I've got a bonus bet on him to win by knockout at plus 550 because I think he's very live early. But if this fight gets out of the first round, I think we could see Manuel Souza start to take over. He's pretty solid all around. And again, everybody's going to be talking about how he knocked out Mauricio Huffy back in the day. So either way, it's going to be Balaji Oki for me getting it done early, or Souza, because we've seen Oki do this. If he gasses out or makes mistakes or whatever and gets finished, either later in the first rounds or in those this early mid-second round. So I'm going to go the under 2.5 at minus 134. I think that covers pretty much everyone's finishing upside. I think both of the guys in this fight are, pretty live to finish the fight early. So I'm just going to take that as my only play there, and then a bonus bet, like I said, on Oki by knockout. Next fight is Elijah Smith and Soo Young Yu, a battle of prospects. I'm really, really intrigued by this fight. I think it's going to be really fun. I'm going to go Elijah Smith knockout or TKO, and specifically Elijah Smith by decision. Let me get those odds for you. I took this on FanDuel. Again, I don't know if this is the correct bout order. I'm just going off of Tapology because I've seen multiple different orders. But Elijah Smith by KO, TKO, or decision is minus 155. Him to win by decision is plus 130. I just think Soo Young Yu is going to be able to get enough wrestling game going to survive. Elijah Smith is super dangerous, whereas Soo Young Yu, he kind of uses his striking more so to set up the takedown. So if you don't favor a side, I think the fight to go the distance is not bad either. But Elijah Smith certainly, we just saw him get a slam knockout in his last fight. So he's got high finishing upside. I'm also going to sprinkle a bonus bet on Soo Young Yu by submission at plus 1,000, just because Elijah Smith, when he got that slam knockout, was in a triangle. And Su Young Yu's nickname and his best trait, best path to victory, whatever you want to call it, is his submission game. His nickname is Jiu-Jitsu. So plus 1,000, certainly worth the value. But I'm really high on, honestly, both of these prospects I like a lot. But Elijah Smith, I just think, is by far the better athlete. And he's 23 years old, so in between fights he's going to be getting, or you would think he's going to be getting a lot better. So, yeah, Elijah Smith, decision at plus 130, knockout or decision at minus 155, and then the Su Young Yu submission at plus 1,000. Next fight, I could have swore this was on the main card, but apparently not anymore. I don't really know what to believe with this bout order, but I'm just going based off of Tapology's order. Next fight is Vitor Petrino and Steven Asplund. I could have swore this was like the fourth last fight of the night, but I don't know. Let me pull it up. Okay. So for this one, again, like I said in my initial breakdown, if you're just going off the physical appearances of these guys, you would think that Vitor Petrino is a 9-1 favorite, Asplund's lost a ton of weight, used to weigh 500 pounds. I watched his pre-fight interview this week. Dude, I'm going to be rooting for this guy. Seriously, he's super likable, has the right mentality, is going to be in entertaining fights every time he's in the octagon. But I think Petrino is in the right weight class at heavyweight. And I just can't get the vision of him getting Asplund to the ground early and submitting him out of my head. Petrino, my cats are fucking going to war right now. Petrino is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Who knows what Asplund is? The guy got submitted by Denzel Freeman. So, Freeman is a good, I don't know if he was Olympic level, but he's like a really good Greco-Roman wrestler. It's just such a bad look based off of his UFC fights. But I don't know, man. I just can't see this fight not getting to the ground, and then Petrino either ground and pound TKO, maybe he takes the back of Asplund, is raining down shots from there, or he just sinks in a choke or something. So I'm going to go Petrino by finish and by submission. Finish is minus 110, sub is plus 270. And then the alternate double chances, baby. They've been here every week. Petrino by sub or Asplund by knockout TKO is minus 105. And then one of those bonus bet sprinkles is going to be Asplund knockout in round 2 or 3. Because, again, I think Petrino is most live early. When he's fresh, he can get the takedowns going. If it doesn't work, if he doesn't get Asplund out of there, the volume from Steven Asplund, I think, will get to Petrino. And who knows, he'll get a late finish possibly. I think it's certainly worth the value at plus 950. So, yeah, we got 4 plays there. And again, I wish I could say I was more confident in Petrino than maybe I am. I don't know. I just think this is such a big, from Sean Sharroff to Vitor Petrino is a massive step up in competition. So I don't know. I know Steven Asplund's a popular dog shot this week, and I see where people are coming from because Petrino doesn't exactly have the best fight IQ, and Asplund's going to put out the pace and the volume, but I just cannot unsee this fight getting to the ground early and Petrino finding a fairly early finish. So those are me my plays there. Next fight is Chris Curtis and Miktabek Oralbai. I said this in my breakdown. This is one of my more confident picks as far as just based off of who I think is going to win. I'm going to go Miktabek Oralbai, moneyline parlay piece, and specifically by decision just because it's pretty good plus money value. It is plus 155. Chris Curtis is really hard to finish. I think he's only been finished twice in his entire career, and this is going to be his 45th professional fight. I don't like Chris Curtis at welterweight, and I love Miktabek Oralbai at welterweight. He's one of my favorite prospects. He's got a very unique appearance. He's a fun fighter to watch. He's not just one of these boring lay and pray guys. He puts a pressure on pretty quick with the hands and has good wrestling. Chris Curtis is solid, so I don't necessarily doubt people that maybe are taking a dog shot, and I did use a bonus bet on him to win by decision at plus 420, but I'm really heavy on the Oralbai victory here. Again, decision plus 155, but His money line parlay piece when it first opened up was minus 250, and I jumped all over that on a couple plays. So, yeah, Oral by money line, and then him specifically by decision, just because, again, Chris Curtis is very tough and durable, and I definitely could see Oral by having a hard time finishing him. But, yeah, I think he gets a 30-27 decision here, if not a late finish. Next fight is Bruno Silva and Charles Johnson. If this was Charles Johnson not coming off the knockout loss to Alex Perez, I'd probably be more confident in him. I do think he wins this fight. My favorite play in this is the fight to not go the distance at plus 118. Bruno Silva is super live early in the fight to get another first-round finish on Charles Johnson. If that doesn't happen, Charles Johnson, I think, is going to piece apart Bruno Silva. Charles Johnson's also really good on the ground, but the striking, I think, is going to be what wins this fight. I mean, everybody said it. You hear anyone who talks about Charles Johnson will say this. Knocked out Joshua Van, knocked out Loner Kavanaugh. I think he can certainly fight knock out Bruno Silva. So fight to not go the distance covers, the Silva finishing upside in the early rounds, and then Charles Johnson to take over later. I also played a bonus bet on Silva by knockout in round 1 or 2 at plus 700 because, again, I think that's his best path to victory is to get to Charles Johnson early, just like Alex Perez does. Bruno Silva and Alex Perez are pretty similar, in my opinion, in terms of their fighting style, so I could definitely see it going that way again. If Charles Johnson's not fully recovered, we could see him, being put out early, which I would hate to see because I like Charles Johnson, but we're just being real. It's a very real possibility. But I do think Charles Johnson is going to win this fight. But I just don't know how he's going to do it. The money line at minus 220 is what it was when I initially looked at it. I think it's come down a bit, but still pretty chalk. I don't think the value is there. Maybe if it was closer to pick him, you could take him straight up because I think if this fight does go to the decision, it's going to be Charles Johnson winning it. But more often than not, I see a finish coming here. So I'm looking at my action, and I do have a Charles Johnson and Vitor Petrino, both of their money lines parlayed together. So I guess you could say I do have a parlay piece out there, but my main play is going to be fight not to go the distance, the one parlay with Vitor Petrino money lines, and then the bonus bet Bruno Silva knockout in round 1 or 2. Next fight, again, I swore this was like the third to last fight on the card. Umar Sy and Iwan, however you pronounce it, Kutalaba. Really high on Umar Sy here. I really think that the Alonzo Menafield stinker woke him up a bit. He came out and finished Brandon Ribeiro. Again, not the best opponent, but he made it look easy like he should have. And I think he goes out there and gets it done again. There is, finishing upside for Iwan Kutalaba early. He always comes out and blitzes guys, and you never know. He could catch Umar Sy for sure. I mean, Umar Sy's never been finished, but there's a first time for everything. So bonus bet on Iwan Kutalaba, same thing as Bruno Silva. Knockout in round 1 or 2, same odds, plus 700. But I'm going to go Umar Sy by finish at minus 105, Umar Sy by sub at plus 220, and I'm going to take his money line as a parlay piece. I just think as long as he survives something stupid early, he's going to be so much bigger, so much better on the ground, even better at striking from range with that gigantic reach. I mean, he's huge for the division. And I'm still fairly high on Umar Sy. I mean, sometimes you just need to take an ugly loss and have a letdown performance for it to awaken and, put a fire under your ass. I really, truly think just based off his last performance, going out and getting a finish in the first round, and now you're going to be going up against a guy who's going to put the pressure on early, let him walk into a big shot or, be over aggressive and get caught on the ground or something like that. So, Umar Sy, one of my more confident picks this week. Got his props that I said, and then the Kutalaba, again, kind of a hedgy bet on him to win by knockout in round 1 or 2. Next fight is Marwan Rahiki and Harry Hardwick. At first, when this fight came out, I was not going to have a ton of stakes on Rahiki coming off Contender Series, but I just can't get that UFC debut performance from Hardwick out of my head. And even watching some of his fights from Cage Warriors, like, this dude is going to be such a slower athlete, man. I just don't see I don't see him keeping up with the pace and pressure from Marwan Rahiki, and Rahiki's going to have so much more power in the hands. If he was going up against, I can't even think of a guy off the top of my head, but someone with, faster hands or just more power or even more of a submission threat, because Marwan Rahiki is not very defensively sound, I would definitely say he is live to lose here as a pretty sizable favorite in his debut, but I just don't think Hardwick's good, man. I don't think he's good. Again, even his Cage Warriors fight were not that impressive. So I could see a realm of possibility where he somehow gets to the back of Rahiki and subs him. So based off of that, my plays for this fight are going to be Rahiki money line, parlay piece, minus 265. Rahiki by knockout, plus 150. And I'm going to take this fight to not start round 3 at minus 122. I think that covers Rahiki coming out like a bat out of hell, which he probably will do. It's what he's done pretty much his entire career. And it also covers if he doesn't finish Hardwick early, maybe Hardwick gets to the back and chokes him out. Who knows? And maybe he shows, hey, my debut was not the story of who I am, and gets a shocker finish. But so Rahiki money line, specifically by knockout, and the fight does not start round 3 are going to be my plays for this one. Next fight is my most confident fighter on the card, Jose Delgado. I'm going to be quick with this one. I'm super high on Jose Delgado. I think he's an awesome fighter. Really, really tough loss in his last one against Nathaniel Wood, but you can make an argument he won that fight. Either way, I'm not going to give him too much sweat off his back for losing to a really solid Nathaniel Wood. And Andre Fili at this point in his career, I think, is just going to be way outmatched on the feet and with the athleticism. If he can get the takedowns going and hold down Jose Delgado, maybe he could ride out a round or so, but I think Delgado is going to be too good of an athlete. He'll be able to get up, and just the striking discrepancy is going to be pretty big for me. So Jose Delgado by knockout at plus 110, I believe. Yeah, plus 110. Delgado by finish on DraftKings at minus 150. Fight does not start round 3, just like the last fight we talked about. This one's minus 148, and Delgado money line because, I just striking, submission, decision, all routes I see pointing for Jose Delgado. I think he gets a big statement bounce back victory. I would say probably in round 1, honestly, but I guess I'll throw some respect on Andre Fili's name. But yeah, there's going to be all my plays for that. Again, I'm going to be pretty quick with this one. Very confident in Jose Delgado this week. Co-main event, only got one play on this one. Amanda Lemos and Jillian Robertson. I'm going to go Jillian Robertson by sub or decision at minus 150. I just think Lemos at 38 years old, not that Robertson's like a superior athlete and super fast, but I just think she's going to be stronger, more youthful, athletic fighter here. Be able to get this fight to the ground, and she does hunt the finishes when she's on the ground. She's not just a lay and pray. Again, if Lemos is able to stuff the takedowns and keep this fight on the feet, she's definitely going to be at the striking advantage. So, maybe a Lemos spread or a straight up dog shot is certainly not a bad play, but I'm going to go Jillian Robertson by sub or decision. I think she's going to have good enough control time. And again, the fact that she seeks out damage on the ground and doesn't just lay and pray, I think will go a long way in the judge's eyes. So minus 150, Jillian Robertson by sub or decision. Now on to the main event. Kevin Vallejos and Josh Emmett. I'm going to go Kevin Vallejos by knockout or decision is minus 300 for a parlay piece. I think everyone is picking Josh Emmett to get knocked out in this fight, but I don't know. I know he got finished early by submission by Yusuf Salah in his last fight, but I think Vallejos, as a young fighter, he's super patient and super smart in there. I think he's going to be wary of that. And yes, I know he, knocked out Giga Chikadze in the second round in their last fight. That was super impressive, but Josh Emmett's been 5 rounds with Ilia Topuria. I know that was a couple years ago, and your chin probably only gets worse as you get older. But I don't know. I just see Kevin Vallejos just being smart on the feet. Again, like I said, my initial picks just in and out, winning the exchanges, and not necessarily looking for the big shot. I think the guy looking for the big shot in this fight is going to be Josh Emmett, because I really think just based off the speed disadvantage, that's going to be his best path to victory. So Josh Emmett by knockout is a bonus bet play for me at plus 800, just based off of the value and the fact that I think it's his only path to victory. But my main plays, Vallejos, decision or knockout, minus 300. And then him by decision is plus 240 on FanDuel. Those are going to be my plays for the main event. And I really hope Vallejos, however the fuck you pronounce it, Vallejos, wins this fight, maybe gets another one, and then possibly see that Jean Silva rematch in the near future if Jean Silva isn't champion by then. So, yeah, that's going to be all my plays. Again, this was just strictly the betting breakdown, but you could kind of get the gist of who I'm picking to win these fights based off of the bets. One prop for every fight parlay will be here. It's mostly a mix. It's basically a mix of all my most confident plays from these props that I gave out. Sprinkle $1 or $2 on that and get you, $1,000 in return. It's certainly worth the sprinkle, I feel. So, that'll do it for this. I'll put this out tomorrow. And, this is in case, you've been here the whole way, maybe this is your first time watching these. This is my ROI so far on the year. Had a really good card at UFC. Well, I can't say I had a really good card at UFC 326. I had 2 really good bets. One that was all luck and one that was a great read. Gregory Rodriguez knockout decision and Cody Garbrandt money line were my big money makers on that one. But even still, I had a good overall fight card outside of those as well. So looking to make it back-to-back winning weeks. Our last time we went to the Apex was a pretty good card for us, the Bautista Oliveira one. So hopefully we have some similar luck here. And at the end of the day, like I said, if you choose to bet, be responsible. Don't take my bets as, gospel, so to speak. If you agree with me, great. If you disagree with me, may the better man win. But always be safe and smart with your money. So anyway, that'll do it for me. I'll see you guys I'll record on Sunday. I'll probably post on Monday the recap from Vegas 114. And then it is on to UFC London. All right. So I hope you guys enjoy the fights this weekend. And good luck if you are choosing the bet. If not, just enjoy the fights, man. All right. See you guys next time.